Hi guys, it's me. I'm just in the middle of making all your lessons for your photography unit. As you can see, I'm working on depth of field here, and I was just in the middle of looking through, see which tutorials that I want to get. I think this is the one that I'm going to include, but I think that I want to just give my own little explanation and show you some student examples as well, and show you what I don't want as well. So let's just go to the handout that I'm going to provide you. I think I have it right here. Now, the handout basically is going to say this is what your aperture looks like, and you're only letting in a little bit of light. But when you let in a little bit of light, that means that your depth of field zone, which is basically your focus area, is going to be really big, and you're going to have lots of stuff in focus. Okay, and so that's going to be with a big F number. So kind of means like big F number, big f-stop number, and big depth of field, which means everything is in focus. Kind of messes you up because the aperture is small. So that's the one thing that's backwards. So I do have my little rule here, higher f-stop number, larger depth of field, and yes, with a small aperture hole. And that's why I've got that. Then similarly, or not so similarly, for a small depth of field, just to have a little bit in focus, you've got the aperture is wide open and a small number. So small number, small depth of field. Let's take a look at some examples just to show you. Let's just go to here, and we're just going to go to full screen. Now that is with a depth of field that is like really big. So the F number, f-stop, is going to be quite large, okay? And you can see here that everything is in focus, even though, and it's really fast motion too, like all these water droplets are frozen in time, and they've got lots of detail here. Yes, this is kind of blurry down here, but when you compare it to the next one, there's a lot going on. This is so out of focus that you're getting those little light things that are happening, and so you have this in focus. Now you can choose what's going to be in focus by adjusting the focus on your camera. They had this section, but if you wanted, you could have this area blurry and this area here in focus if you wanted to. Take another example. So somebody just took a picture of your dog. Pretty boring shot, but we do see that the dog is in focus with the background is blurry, and then you can see now that everything is in focus. So yeah, okay, it's a nice dog, kind of a boring shot, but at least they're telling me that they know how to use the camera, okay? I happen to have a lens here that I would have been able to lend you, that the aperture goes wide open, and it really looks like this. And so in fact, maybe this picture was taken with my lens that I lent out to a student at one point. Let's see here. Let's take a look again. Large depth of field with a big f-stop number, and the actual aperture is a very small hole. And then again, now you can see it really sets your subject out from the background here. Like right now, the background is quite distracting, but here, because the background is softer, it really brings your subject, it kind of punches it out into the foreground. Again, so this person handed theirs in side by side. This is a really good example showing the depth. In fact, you would think that this light, because everything is so in focus, that you would think that this light seems really close to these trees. That's what I first thought when I first saw this photo, but it certainly does not look like there. It actually makes those trees seem further back. Just a little effect there. This is an example of a bad one. Right now, so we've got this one. This is supposed to be short depth of field, I think, because like we've got a pine cone and we've got some flag that was probably used for gym class in the background. That's good. That's a good short depth of field. However, when I look at the next one that they did, like really nothing is in focus. Like nothing. Like you have something in focus. Or maybe they were just trying to, I don't even know what they were trying to do here. So they're not demonstrating that they know what they're doing. Here's a good one. I know it's very simple. It was just shot in the classroom, short depth of field, long depth of field. Okay, isn't that like that? Just like is a boring shot. You see what the projects are on the screen, and this just makes it just such a more of a appealing shot. Okay, interesting, and even more interesting. Actually, that looks so much nicer like that. This looks so much flatter, and this is just using the short depth of field. Just gives so much more visual interest and really brings you down into the guy. And here, you're really distracted by all the stuff that's around him on this little safari that he's going on right now. And this is so much nicer. Interesting. I don't know if you know Adam, who shot this. Is very much his personality. And that's working well. Okay, so yeah, make sure that you shoot 2 shots that are pretty much identical. This is a bad one. Okay, this just shot in the MTV studio, and obviously that is a short depth of field because the microphone is in focus and the foreground is blurry. However, oh, there we go. This one now, so what they did is they switched the focus. Now the foreground is in focus and the background is blurry. So like really, all they did was change the focus. They did not adjust the depth of field settings to make everything in focus. Okay, so please give me 2 shots. One with a short depth of field where something is in focus and everything else is blurry, and then another one where everything is in focus. So they needed to give me another shot where this was in focus and the microphone. Oh yeah, back to this one. This one I thought it was wrong. They've got everything in focus on this side here, and then I thought, oh man, everything's blurry. Oh, but they didn't. This is in focus right here. I just didn't notice that. And then here we go. Long depth of field. Everything's in focus. Short, very, very, very short depth of field. Would have been a little more interesting if this was the stuff that was in focus, but whatever. Okay, so that is your lesson, and hopefully that better explains things for you. Have a good day.